a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we ask that you would, we love for you to come back as much times and as many times you want throughout the week. Come back, come back, come back as many times as you can. And what we're doing here, folks, this is simply a personal development class, personal development. And what we do is personal development is where we're all taking our own responsibility. And this is something that's not a well-known phenomenon because how many understand that most of life has been what we do. It's called projection, where we usually will say it's the outside circumstances. I was raised on the wrong side of the tracks. You know, my mom didn't raise me well, and I didn't have a father in the house, and I was abused, all these kind of things. And we blame these circumstances and we hold on to them, and we use them as crutches for why we can't get ahead. But what personal development does is personal development kind of chunks all this stuff out the way and say, okay, you know what? I can take control of my own life. Because as Mr. Satchel, my co-partner here, always says, you know, you enter by force. You know, you don't have a choice. You can't choose who your mom and dad is and who your family's going to be. But you leave this earth by choice, right? And so you can choose this day that you're going to stop blaming the outside circumstances and you're going to work on your internal being, your subconscious mind, change your paradigms, and you can make the change. That's why we say we can change you, then you can change your world. But here's the better question. If you're willing to change yourself, then you can change your world. So you have to be willing. So whosoever is willing to be changed, then you can change your world. So that's what we're here to do every morning. Again, we got an online platform. If you're on Facebook, you want to go to our group, Life Changing Alliances, and add yourself to our Facebook group so that you can be able to interact. And some of us share some amazing comments and insights at the end of the day. Also, we put different announcements back there as well. Also, we also have a website, and that's www.lifechangingalliances.com. Again, www.lifechangingalliances.com, and there you can purchase brochures if you like for our group. Also, myself and Mr. Satchel, we both are authors of amazing books. A lot of you are new to our call. You want to get our books. If you really want to get into our minds and one of the things that how we think and how we operate and why we do this call, and you definitely go online and purchase the books, two amazing, good-selling books that's online for your reading pleasure. Definitely go in there and get them. And we have a nice little bundle package. So if you buy both our books together, you'll save about $10 if you buy both of our books together. So what a good deal it is, right? So with that being said, I'm going to go turn the call over to Mr. Motivator, my partner in success here, as we've been doing this call over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And soon we'll be saying we're approaching 2 years because we started this call in January of last year, 2015. And look at where we've come at this point. And we truly thank all of you who've been with us. Some of you are new, some of you are old. We definitely thank you guys because without you, this call would not be able to exist. Because surely I would not come here every day just to talk to Mr. Motivator. I mean, he's a good friend, but I don't need to talk to him on camera on a whole hour. So I thank you guys for coming every single morning faithfully to come on this call and be able to listen in. And we love your insights. So again, folks, as we read these books, just want to give you a heads up. You know, we read these books and we welcome your insights. You know, Ms. Satchel, we'll always talk, but we love hearing you guys speak because it's like when you guys speak, it's a whole different level of speaking. You know, it's a different way when to see you guys' lives being changed. That's what we love more than anything else. So with that being said, I'm trying to call Mr. Motivator, Mr. Satchel. This guy is an amazing individual, let me tell you. And if you don't know, now you know, because this guy, we call him Mr. Motivator for a reason, because he has the ability. Not everybody has that ability to influence people. And he has the ability to help you see where you are, to face your reality. That's what he does. And he's hard-hitting. You know, he's hard-hitting, but he's going to help you see your reality and see where you are. And the whole goal is he's a life coach as well, because he's also here to give you life skills so you can change your life and give you new set of skills. You know, his wonderful book simply exemplifies exactly who his true core is he wrote a book called The Struggleaholic versus the Alcoholic. And see, he struggled many years ago. But now he's very well off and doing very well for his life because he recognized that, man, the struggle is worse than the alcoholic. And that's why he talks the way he talks, because a lot of us are in that rut. And he's going to help pry you out of that rut. Like, just pry you out of that rut. So with that being said, Mr. Satchel, Mr. Motivator, the call is yours, sir.
Wow! First and foremost, thank you, Mr. Mumford, for all of those accolades. I'm broke today, so I can't give you no check, but we appreciate that. You know, we'll hook it up somehow. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Just say fantastic. Bam, fantastic. We want to definitely welcome you to the LCA group and all of those that are joining. I just seen some folks just join the LCA on Facebook. If you haven't already, I want to share some stuff real quick that was really shared with me, but I think it was really good for the class. And the first thing is we want to thank Miss Imani Scott, a part of the LCA group. She actually put up on the LCA family, like if you go to LCA on Facebook, Life Changing Alliances, you will actually see. And she said, wow, what a fantastic class. Very powerful way to start this way. And based on the discussion that we had on success principles on the first, she said that she has been tapping, anybody remember the tapping that we said? And we try not to just overlook these things, but the tapping since 2012, and just for FYI, each year there is a free live 10-day tapping on February 2017, and anyone can sign up for the priority notification and then if there's a link on getting more information on tapping. And again, it may not be for you, but at the end of the day, it may be able to help somebody. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, there's so much stuff out there that's there to help us. And we just have to take advantage. I want to share something else that was also shared, and I don't see this one on the Life Changing Alliances, but I'm going to share it with you because it was shared with me. And this gentleman named Kevin, y'all see Kevin every morning online, and he shared this with me, and it was a piece that Oprah Winfrey did, and I think this would really be good for everybody to see. It's real quick, but I want you to just see this. And I just want to end with this. We're going to go from here. All right. Man, the reason why we're saying this, and let me, before I even, set this up, the reason why personal development is so important, it is not to get on you and tell you what you're doing wrong. Did you hear me? Is everybody hearing what I'm saying? It's not for us to tell you what you're doing wrong. It's just for us to give you new information that you can actually do what? You can look at it and assess the information based off of what you already know. And if there's a place in your life that is not giving you the results that you want, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's new information out there that can do what? It can actually help you make an adjustment. You follow what I'm saying? Most people are frustrated simply because they actually run out of information and they say, Dad, well, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Let me say something to you. You're not doing anything wrong, right? When you started walking, y'all remember that? Anybody remember when they started walking? Before you could walk, you kept what? You kept falling, right? Was you doing something wrong by falling? No, that was part of your process to strengthen those limbs and legs to help you learn first how to balance, right? It didn't show you how to walk. It shows you what? How to balance. And a lot of us right now with personal development, what this is doing is just helping us learn how to balance, come into balance. Like you'll hear that constantly. Balance your emotions. Don't be so extreme on this and don't be so extreme on that. Just because you might have been adopted, just because you might have been molested, just because somebody might have hurt you, just because you was in the wrong direction on relationships, guess what? It is the only thing that it's doing is helping you what? Learn from those things, right? And move you into your what? your purpose. Am I making sense, Mr. Mumford, right there? So when you look at this information right now, and I just wanted to set it up. And again, we want to thank you, Mr. Kevin, for sharing this with me, but I just felt as though we all needed to hear this one, all right? So with that being said, let's get started on personal development, life change, and the line says.
There really aren't any, because you have a supreme destiny. When you're in your little mind, in your little personality mind, where you're not centered, where you really don't know who you are, that you come from something greater and bigger, and that we really all are the same. When you don't know that, you get all flustered. You get stressed all the time, wanting something to be what it isn't. There is a supreme moment of destiny calling on your life. Your job is to feel that, to hear that, to know that. And sometimes when you're not listening, you get taken off track. You get in the wrong marriage, the wrong relationship, you take the wrong job. Yeah, but it's all leading to the same path. There are no wrong paths. There are none. There's no such thing as failure, really, because failure is just that thing trying to move you in another direction. So you get as much from your losses as you do from your victories, because the losses are there to wake you up. The losses are to say, fool, that is why you go to school. So that CBS can call you. So when you understand that, you don't allow yourself to be completely thrown by a grade or by a circumstance, because your life is bigger than any one experience. And if I always ask people on Super Soul Sunday to tell me, what would you say to your younger self? Every person says in one form or another, I would have said, relax, relax. It's gonna be okay. It really is gonna be okay. Because even if you're on a detour right now, and that's how you know when you're not at ease with yourself, when you're feeling like, oh, no, shouldn't be there. That is the cue that you need to be moving in another direction. Don't let yourself get all thrown off, continue to be thrown off course. When you're feeling off course, that's the key. How do I turn around? So when everybody was talking about, when I started this network, if I had only known, good Lord, how difficult it would be. The way through the challenge is to get still and ask yourself, what is the next right move? Not think about, oh, I got all of this. What is the next right move? And then from that space, make the next right move and the next right move. And not to be overwhelmed by it, because you know your life is bigger than that one moment. You know you're not defined by what somebody says is a failure for you, because failure is just there to point you in a different direction.
All right. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, you know, don't get all crazy, all retarded and everything else like that. Guess what? Relax. Are y'all ready for some reading? All right. So we are on our next chapter here. And the yesterday, our chapter was face what isn't working. Face what is not working. Hold on one second. All right. Face what is not working. All right, everybody ready? If you are going to become more successful, you have to get out of the denial and face what isn't working in your life. Do you defend or ignore toxic or work environments? It is so important that we stop being in denial and we what? face those things. Great class on yesterday, and hopefully you did take action and do the assignment. Make a list of what isn't working in your life. Did anybody do that? You know what? I'm saying this right now because, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't do it yesterday. But at the end of the day, it really gets to me sometimes to think of where life was at one time, where you working so hard and we didn't even think about this. Like when you start really looking at, like, did we really think about these type of assignments for our lives and now how important this stuff is? Really? I mean, just think about it. Take time out right now and make a list of what is it working for you, not being in denial. And I mean, I'm 50 going on 52 years old right now. And it's just amazing how this stuff isn't taught in the schools, how it's not taught in colleges. Even a lot of jobs could do seminars and things like that. It's not really taught in the church, right? And the way that it is taught is totally different than what it is. So, Miss Lynn, if you're ready to read.
Okay.
I'm going to put the book back up.
But we read that part.
Yeah, no, we're on 31.
We read the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're on principle 31. I read it. So principle 31, embrace change. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. You there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Change is inevitable. At this very moment, for instance, your body and cells are changing. The earth is changing. The economy, technology, how we do business, even how we communicate is changing. And though you can't resist that change and potentially be swept away by it, you can also choose to cooperate with it, adapt to it, and benefit from it.
I want to say something right here. I really have to say something for those that are. I want you to ask yourself something, and this is the truth. When you look at, and I want you to help me out here, Mr. Mumford. When was the Bible written? Oh, I might have to unmute him. Hold on. Stop. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. When was the Bible written?
I mean, it's over a period of time.
How long ago?
Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago. Do you think the person who wrote that Bible and there was how he was basically inspired? Do you think times have changed since then?
Yeah, times have changed, but I'm not sure what your question is.
Like things that you was doing then are totally different than the way things are being done today.
Oh, definitely.
Yes or no, right? So when you look at, and so like based on you, when you came out in the 70s, are things done totally different in the 80s?
Absolutely.
The way that young people respond today versus the way we respond today, like you look at some folks in our project and then you look at some of us, would you say right now that change is being made and how important it is for us to be able to change, like the economy? Would you say that's different based on the technology that we have out there today, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So the things that you guys have learned, would you say that it would be a whole different, like if you could raise your children today, right, versus the way you raised your children when you raised your children, would you do anything differently?
Well, depending on, my kids are young, so probably not. I'd probably do the same thing, but I'm sure if they were a lot older, I would definitely be saying that.
So right where they are, let me just say this, right where they are right now, would you do anything differently than what you did when you raised your children based off of the things you learned today, where you are, your maturity today, based on where you were then, would you do things differently?
I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you. But I would, the choices I've made, I would do differently. But that's only because I've learned things and not because of, I wouldn't say I would do anything differently based on anything I've done, because I would do things differently personally, but not not how I raise my children.
And now see where I'm getting at. Watch here. He says, based on what I've learned today, there would be different what? Choices that lead to what? Change. Yes, no, maybe so. See, Jamal ain't the easiest person to talk to. He gonna take me where I need to take him, but I will challenge you today. Right? Right? Y'all follow what I'm saying? He just gonna be difficult with me. That's Mr. William himself. Sometimes he does that, but he keeps me on my P's and Q's. But I'm sure that everybody can relate. Based on the economy today, people what they used to make millions in are now making billions in, based on they're doing things what? Totally what? Differently than what they used to do it. Like based on how you can explode or implode a building, there might not have been that equipment and things that they have today to be able to do those things. Am I making sense of circumstances?
Absolutely. I mean, you asked me a subject that I didn't have the answer that will be apropos to this teaching, but there are other things in my life, like my career choice. You know, when I chose to be a TV director, for instance, I didn't know when I entered the TV business, that's right when the TV business took a right turn, a huge turn.
Mm-hmm.
So people said, well, I entered the wrong time because it was a huge change. And most people couldn't adjust to the change of the new non-linear technology. So many people lost their jobs, you know. So I always say that, you know, and you guys may want to write this down, remember this, that change is the only constant. Change is the only constant. The only constant in life is change. So things are always changing, right? And even with the children's aspect, I have to change what I would see, because of me having kids at a young age. I had to change with my children, right? So I am making adjustments as they're making adjustments, right? I have younger sisters, so it's kind of helped me. That's why it's kind of helped me a lot, because I have younger sisters, but I am constantly having to change with my children, right, Satchel? So that's, and if I didn't want to now, I would I'm going to call telling you that I'm hitting my head against the wall because my kids are doing all these things that I don't understand. But because understanding change has to happen, I have to adjust with the children, have to adjust with the times, you know. And that's very important that you're saying that, because that's where most of us are stuck. And that's what we say, I'm just the way I am. I'm not changing, right? My mentor told me to get rid of my mutual funds. I said, what do you mean? But after I read a long book about mutual funds, and then I realized that there's other ways I got to invest my money. So now I'm on the phone with because he said, you got to change with the times. If you're still doing mutual funds, that's a thing of the past, Jamal. I'm like, what? Now my stock portfolio is rarely gaining any money now because times have what? Changed. So absolutely.
Absolutely. And this is so important, and I believe this is where the flush.
Hit the record button?
Yes, I did. Look at the top of your screen to say stop recording. No, just saying.
I'm gonna say that.
But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when you actually look at it, it says change is inevitable. You gotta constantly be what? Learning. Right? What did Mr. Mumford say? Based on what I've learned, I would make different what? Choices. So when you look at personal development, you're constantly doing what? Learning new things to make adjustments and adapt to what? The change that's taking place, right? So that's at the end of the day. All right, grow or die. Go ahead, Miss Lynn. Grow or die.
Grow or die. In 1910, Florist Telegraph Delivery, known today as FTD, was founded by 15 American florists who began using the telegraph to exchange orders and deliver flowers to customers, loved ones thousands of miles away. Gone were the days when a daughter or sister would go to the local florist and order a small bouquet. Family members were relocating to cities and towns far from home, and FTD flourished by identifying this trend and combining it with the telegraph, which represented a change in the way we communicate. Around the same time, the American railroad industry began to see the automobile and the airplane as new technologies designed to transport people and goods from place to place. But unlike other industries who readily embraced these new machines, the railroad industry resisted, believing instead that they were in the railroad business, not the business of transporting goods and people. They didn't realize what they were up against. They didn't grow. Though businesses focusing on the railroads might have become automobile and aircraft businesses, they didn't. As a result, they almost died out.
Want to say anything on that? Just those last two paragraphs that you read?
Well, it's like you have to go with change. Change is inevitable. And like in this day, something that all of us can relate to is just having the computers and the changes that have gone through the computers throughout the years. Some of the very first computers actually were so big, they filled up an entire room. And now you pretty much can hold the power of a computer in the palm of your hand via a smartphone today. Even some of the older generation, the baby boomers, you hear people, swear until their last breath. Oh, I'm not messing with those computers. I'm not going to do that. But then you see, especially in network marketing or a relationship building business, where it is important to grasp the whole concept of social media. And if you're not on a computer, you're not grasping it. And that's a whole different outlet. I mean, just think of the people who aren't grasping and learning, taking the time to learn social media. They have a whole virtual field of untapped potential out there. And at some point, you're either going to have to make the decision to grow or make the decision to not grow, but you're still going to have to make the decision nonetheless.
Wow. I said the same thing about iPhone.
Well, here you go.
I'm just saying, seriously, thank you, Mr. Davis, the technology today, right? And y'all, see, hold on, listen. Are y'all reading this book? He just said they didn't realize what they were up against. They didn't grow. Did y'all hear what I just said? See, yeah, listen to this book. But it's the same thing, and I'm sure some of you remember, how many of us had a problem when the ATM? Anybody remember when the Mac machine came out? It wasn't even an ATM, it was called Mac. Anybody remember them days?
Yes.
Mac machine.
The money access machine.
How many of us had a problem switching over to a Mac, instead of going in the bank, switching over to go get your money out this machine, right? Just like, oh my God, here we go. Now watch this. They said they was going to start charging you, what? I believe 25 cents, right? To get your money out that machine. And then some of us would just resist, go right into that bank, and we'll wait in that line, right? And then, or here's another change. Please stand by. And then you had this lady talking to you on the recording, and she was like, press 1, press 2, press 3. And you was like, I want to talk to a person. Anybody had that? And you just kept pressing 0 so it would take you to that receptionist. Now what happens is when you press 0, they talking about click, call back. You're now the 25th person in the 9, and you're now blah, 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 blah. Anybody feeling this change coming on, right? Then it's now to a point that you go on these websites, and how many of you are looking for phone numbers to call somebody on the phone, but they're like, nope, we want you to type to this little man in this little box, right? Who that guy called, Lynn? What does they call him? Help support desk or something else like that, right? How many of y'all having a problem adjusting to all of this stuff right now, right? How many of you are having a problem adjusting when you walk in the store? There's only one cashier, and then there's all these self-checkouts. You do it yourself. Are y'all seeing this y'all seeing this self world that like you got to start believing in yourself? All of this entitlement. Where's all the cashiers? You're the cashier. Go check it out yourself. Are y'all getting with me? See, life is changing. The world is just changing. Mr. Mumford, you want to say anything about that?
I mean, it's the major thing in technology. As I was explaining to my team the other night, and I said, especially to those who are more seasoned, and yeah, I remember when we was at a conference, and I'm thankful that my mentor said it because he's actually more seasoned than I am, and I'm glad that he said it, and now I use that to say to other people when they look at like Facebook and look at social network and look at computers, and he said, you got to understand what age we're in. And I was so thankful when he broke down the ages, because look at from the history of the history of mankind, there's always been change. There's been changes. So, like I said, in the beginning of time, folks, it would be the fact that there was no jobs. See, jobs was something that was created, right? Mm-hmm. Jobs weren't in there from the start. So it was a bartering system, mm-hmm. right? And basically, Mr. Satchel, if you had rice and I had corn, what I would do is I would actually go to you and say, hey, I need some corn. You would give me some corn. You would say, hey, I need some rice. And we would barter. We would trade. Barter also means to trade, mm-hmm. right? Then all of a sudden we got to a point where we said, well, I want to have this farm. And if I grow more crops, I could do more bartering, right? So now the field's so big, I only got my family and my wife, and that's it. So now they invent this machine that allows you to plant more crops than you can do by hand. Right? It's now now we went into the agricultural age. Mm-hmm. Times have changed, right? Now people got these big machines. So now you can't be a little small guy trying to borrow a little money. You now got to compete with the other guys. So now you got to go get bigger farms, more vegetables and so forth, right? And then what happened is once machines started getting invented, then we went into the industrial age, right? Because now they figured that, listen, we can now use machines to produce more product. But the thing about those machines, you need people behind the machines to run the machines, yes. right? Hence, that began the surge of job markets, right? And then, but now what I love the most is most people got stuck in the Industrial Revolution.
Yes, yes.
Most of us mentally are stuck in that time because your parents were there doing it for so long, and now you're stuck in that time. But see, my generation, that's why my generation, we don't even think about jobs in the way we look at jobs. And they said now the age today is edu-technical informational age. That everybody's now looking at technology, education technology. What's making money today is young people are able to push information and educate people through technology. Right? So when you go to Walmart, what is that? That's technology, right? So when you go look at the Ziosk and everybody, and you look at Facebook now, and I tell people all the time, if you're in a project right now, I've made tens of thousands of dollars using Facebook, but people will still say, I do not use Facebook, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. We are resistant to change. Listen, well, I don't want nobody scamming. I don't want nobody stalking me. No, you can't say that. Because it is if Walmart's on Facebook, if all the major if Microsoft's on Facebook and everybody's on Facebook advertising, no one's advertising on television anymore. The TV dials are done. TV is done. People are going to computers. But what I'm just saying, Mr. Satchel, that times are always changing, and what we do is we get stuck in that time, and people are still stuck in the industrial age. That's why the politicians, they can only preach jobs, because there's no jobs coming back. I mean, sorry to say, like I said, Mr. Satchel, now look at my CBS News. When I was a TV director, I had a crew of 17 workers on my crew.
Mm-hmm.
Because of technology now, when I call my friends now, just in a matter of time, I started in TV. In a matter of 10 years, it went from 17 people doing a TV newscast is now down to 3.
Wow.
Do you think CBS is going to ever come back and say, you know what, let's get rid of this stuff and go back to the old way we're doing things? Come on, anybody? I mean, come on now. And you people believe the politicians? Oh, I'm voting for Hillary because she's going to bring jobs back? Right. Yeah, but let's vote for Barack. He's going to help the black people. Yeah, right. Listen, they can't. It's impossible. It's impossible.
It would never happen. I think McDonald's, I think you was telling me how McDonald's is now going to kiosks.
And you're on kiosks now. Now you go to McDonald's and it's coming now. They got it over in Europe. They got it over in Asia. When you go there, you select, I want a meal number 1. You hit send. Like everybody go to Wawa if you're in Philadelphia. You now if you go to Quick Trip down south, you press on the computer what you want. It goes to the computer, the person in the back, they make it, and there's one person, they only one cook, and one person say, hey, order number 3 is ready. And McDonald's was the world's largest, employers?
Wow. I think you said Walmart was getting ready to leave a lot of people as well. See, all we're trying to do, guys, here is prepare you for, and you can't be the last one on the drawing board. Like you got to be on top of this right now. Like when you look at what we're doing based on like these projects, ladies and gentlemen, people are only going to compensate you for what you are worth. And guess who's going to determine that? You. You keep on depending on, okay, I'm going to just hope they give me a raise. They don't even give out raises no more. They literally saying we can't give you no, I mean, literally, like how much do you have to see before you start making your transition? That's all I'm saying. We're not saying quit your job, but it's time to really start transitioning because they're just not going to give you enough. Like you say, well, I just wait for somebody to give me a stipend. I'll wait for welfare. Baby, don't let some people get into that joint because you're going to see welfare go right out the door. All of this entitlement stuff, and I'm going to tell you why they're going to do it. Because other third world countries don't have all of this stuff that they have here. Are y'all see, and the thing about it is you're thinking, no, that'll never happen in America. I mean, it'll never happen here in the state. Let me tell you something. You're going to look up, wake up. In fact, it's already here to the point that they say the unemployment numbers are so far down. But at the end of the day, the people that's working, like, let me show you how stuck they are. Because you've been there 20 or 30, 20, 25, 20, 15 years. You're like, man, please do something. Do something. Start learning some new stuff. Learn how to put a website together. All of this stuff you can learn on the internet, right? You get ahead of it. So they say when all of these crises fall in, just like, see, people don't believe this, but the crash in 2008 was devastating to some people. 401ks and all of that went, you follow what I'm saying? And guess what? It is now 2016. Yup, it seemed like that was just yesterday. They say, based on this book Mumford was just reading, Conspiracy, based on information that I'm watching constantly, Robert Kiyosaki say it's just a matter of time before it's going to happen again. We're right there at the trend. It can't maintain. It's got to fall. So with that being said, where are you right now? Oh, I'm not worrying about it. That's what's the difference of being reactive and proactive. Period.
That's where, Mr. Thatcher, and that's where I really stand on my soapbox about people being educated and knowing what's going on in your world. You should become well versed in the world. See, sometimes even in your project, because Mr. Thatcher, again, if you knew, see, I was laid off 3 times and fired once in my early 20s. So you understand, like, I'm thankful that happened to me because I already had the idea that a job is not going to work for me. Now, some of you may be on a job for 20, 30 years and you've never been fired, never been laid off. So you may not think that, but see, I'm glad that happened to me to let me know the reality of where we're going, right? So when you well versed, you read financial books about the trends of the economy, right? When I was telling you that people even on welfare, that in Boston, Massachusetts, they now passed a law and it's going to go countrywide, where now they have discovered that welfare recipients smoke marijuana, right? A lot of them on using drugs, stuff like that. So now you will be drug tested to maintain your welfare. Okay. Now the welfare to work program, you now have to find a job in a certain amount of time. So now look at the people that's on welfare, they don't count them in the unemployment numbers. But what happens when people on welfare, and I know a lot of them, because I know a lot of them, they smoking every day, smoking out. And now when they go for that random drug test and they say your check's cut off, even child support. They're now taxing women who are getting child support. They're now saying you got to pay taxes now to get your child support.
What?
Come on now, folks. See, but if you don't read and you don't study what's going on, and I think sometimes some of us need to catch up on our world, understand that Mr. Thatcher said, look at what's going on in other countries. It's not, I know how we got this subject, but it's educational. You got to educate yourself about where the world is. So when you look at your project, maybe you work your project a little different when you know that coming next year, what's going to happen. See, the job is doing so many things behind the scenes. See, they're passing laws, and what they're doing is they're fooling you because they're passing one. You got this one law that's passed, and you're like, oh, that's all. But you know, when they pass one law, they pass 50 other laws behind a big law, right? And so what happens is you don't understand. Like what happens, a lot of some people getting audit on their taxes because when Obama, what he did is he passed a law, and they passed a law that he employed 18,000 people to do nothing but go after people off their taxes. Wow. So now many people start getting audits this year. Look at the health insurance. If you don't have, this is your last year not having health insurance, you will be deducted. They will deduct from your federal tax return starting next year. So some people are so think about they go get their federal tax return next year, and if they see that you don't have a medical insurance at any sort, you will be taxed $2,500.
Wow.
Right? How many of you didn't know that, right? See, change is always happening, but we just walk in life like it's bliss, like it's nothing going on.
That's right. And that's how we got here, because if you look at this, and I'm going to just show y'all this in big words, when it says right here, just look at this. What do it say right here? Grow or die. You follow what I'm saying? See, and we're taking this so lightly because, it ain't going to affect me. We better vote. Let me tell you something. Vote for you and get your butt up off your butt and learn some things. All right. Miss Lynn? Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see, we're at where do you need to grow?
Yep.
All right. When change happens, you can either cooperate with it. I thought I read that. Anyway, okay. When change happens, you can either cooperate with it and learn how to benefit from it, or you can resist it and eventually get run over by it. It's your choice.
Wow.
When you embrace change wholeheartedly as an inevitable part of life, looking for ways to use new changes
to make your life richer. Did she freeze? Can y'all hear me?
She froze.
She froze.
She froze like an ice cube.
Oh. See how technology is? Bam. When you embrace change wholeheartedly, an inevitable part of life, looking for ways to use new changes to make your life richer. Watch this. Make your life what? richer, easier, and more fulfilling, your life will work what? Much better. You will experience change as an opportunity for growth and new experiences. Several years ago, I was hired to consult with the Naval Sea System Command in Washington, D.C. They had just announced they were moving the entire command to San Diego, California, which meant that a lot of civil service jobs were going to be lost in that transition. My job was to conduct a seminar for all of the non-military personnel who would not be moving to California. And though the Naval Sea System Command had offered everyone jobs and transferred to San Diego, including reimbursement of all moving expenses, or assistance in locating a new job in the Washington, D.C. area, many of the employees had become, is that me?
That's true.
Where? Oh.
The ringtone.
Sorry. All right. It says, though nearly all of them looked at this change as a major disaster in their lives, I encourage them to look at it as what? An opportunity. Now, how many of us have been in that situation? Oh, we get ready to leave. We get ready to come into new management. Either you leave and then you'll be like, oh, no, I can't leave because my family is here, right? So now it appears to you as a disaster where it appeared to others as a what? A new opportunity for you to get the heck out. Get away from, right? So and then it says, as something new, I taught them about the ERO and how although the move to San Diego Eat, which was the event, was inevitable, their outcome, whether or not they flourished afterward, would entirely depend on their what? Response. Are y'all following what I'm saying here? To the situation. Perhaps you'll find a more empowering job in DC, I said, or even get a what? Job with better pay. Or maybe you would like to move to California where it's warm most of the year and new friends and adventures are awaiting you. So you're looking at it in this situation like, oh my God, boom, boom, boom. Slowly they began to move from panic and fear to realizing that things could indeed work out, maybe even for the better, if only they embrace this change as an opportunity to create something new and better for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how many people, there's events that show up when Katrina came to New Orleans? Could you control what just happened when that weather came? Can you control this? No, you can't. But they say when it came through, most people lost everything, which was what? Devastating to some. To others, it became what? Opportunity. And at the end of the day, they say 70% of those people who went through that catastrophic event is doing much better today than they were then. And then they say, look at God. No, if you would have just wanted to make a change, right? Could you have made that change and moved to Houston or ended up someplace else on your own? But now you're looking at this. I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, it don't have to be devastating. Just start learning and start making the changes today. Why? Because guess what? Change is inevitable. It's all in your perception of how you're seeing this thing. At the end of the day, are you excited about this technology that's around? Absolutely. Why? Because you can get paid while you sleeping now. What you say? You mean I could sleep right now till 9, 10 o'clock and wake up and there's money in my bank account? You got darn right. Mr. Mumford, how to embrace change.
Wow.
It's 9:52. Go ahead, sir.
Anybody have any comments? Anybody want to comment? Definitely open the call up. Anybody have any comments? Simply raise your hand or hit *6. This Miss Bridget.
All right, I'll open it up. Mute all, allow. All right, all you have to do is hit unmute on your buttons. Bridget, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wow, this is a really good subject. I actually wanted to share that I had a friend and classmate yesterday. She made a post on Facebook about change. And she is a comedian. She left our hometown of Mobile, Alabama. She moved to Georgia. She left her daughter behind to go and seek, to make a better life and pursue her career. And she has been very successful in doing it. And yesterday she made a post about, she said she looked in the mirror yesterday and it was like she didn't recognize who she saw because she had excelled so well, it almost scared her to actually be at the position. And she was kind of wondering, was she doing right? Because she's changed so much. She's lost weight. She's, being more confident in herself, in her skills, and her ability. She's done great. But it actually scared her to look in the mirror and not recognize who she was looking at. And I encouraged her on yesterday, and I told her that the person that you're looking at, you're meeting your successful self. You're meeting the person that you're becoming, and it can be scary to embrace change because sometimes the person that we fear the most is the person that's the successful us. We fear that because we don't know what it's like. We know what it's like to struggle. We know what it's like to live in poverty. We know what it's like to have to rob people to pay power, but we don't know what it's like to move to a successful place in life sometimes. For those of us who have not, I don't know everybody, I can speak for me. I know what it's like to live on Section 8. I know what it's like to get food stamps and wait on them and be excited to go to the store on the food stamp day. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have to sleep at somebody's house, lay on their floor, lay on their couch. I know what that's like. But what I had to say to Bridget was, I have to push to get to a place. To the person that I look at in the mirror, almost scares me. If I heard somebody say, if your dream is not big enough that it scares you, you're not dreaming big enough. I heard Miles say that. I heard a Pastor Mike say that the person sometimes that we're looking to meet, it needs to be the new us. It needs to be the successful us. Some of us are so comfortable with being where we are because we have control of that. But when we step outside of where we are, and just be willing, be vulnerable, be willing to give up that control of your life, then you can see the success, then you can see the place that you're going to go, and you're not going to have, you may not know every single detail, and I'm talking about myself, because I'm a person that likes to be in control. I like to know exactly what I'm doing, what time I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. If I don't know, I feel lost. But for me, and for everyone, I just wanted to say that sometimes that change that you need is totally foreign, and it's okay. It's okay that you don't know about this change. But if you don't embrace that change, just like the book said, you're either going to change or you are going to die. That's what I wanted to share.
Oh, Clap it up for Miss Bridget. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Machina. Thank you. Rick, I'm glad you know sign language. Go ahead, Machina.
Y'all are too funny this morning. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Just want to say that what you read was spot on, because I'm actually going through that type of transition. As many of you know, that I had accepted an opportunity out on the West Coast. And so as a result, yesterday I had what they call a roles and responsibility transitional meeting with my senior director and one of the other senior leaders. And the first question that they asked me, did I change my mind? I'm like, no. Why would I change my mind when I don't want to stay in this environment? And it's not what I do, because I'm very passionate in what I do for my employees, for my stakeholders, for the managers, supervisors, but it's the actual environment that I'm in that I want to get away from, because I'm not going to come into alignment of what the people are doing here. So as I look at it, rather than to complain, remove myself and go to something that's much better. And God has been so graceful and merciful to me during this time, because I did get the relocation expenses. I did get the pay increase. And everybody's like so surprised, like, oh my God, they offer you all that. Why wouldn't he? I'm the child of God. So of course he's going to bless me with those things, and he's going to bless me to do an excellent job. He gives you which you can handle, because he knows that I can handle what I have been blessed with. And so I say all that to say is that you can't be afraid of change. I'm going out there by myself, and I'm very excited because it's going to be something new, something fresh, and something that I can make into my own. So I'm just so excited for it. Mm-hmm. And I just implore and cheer anyone else on and say sometimes you do have to just pack up and just go, whether it's over to the other side of the country or out of the country, but just be daring and just do it.
Absolutely. Wow. Go ahead, Miss Machina. Clap it up for Machina. And you know what? I love the way she's constantly speaking right now, because at the end of the day, this young lady just got a brand new house in Delaware, and now she gets a new job on the West Coast, all the way on the other side, literally. And most people would have been like, I just got this house, I can't go nowhere. And when the door is open, it's like you're afraid to walk through the door. The door is opening right there. It's all kind. Guess what? I can promise you all other adjustments will be made through the process. Am I making sense? You'll look at it. Well, I think it was the last 2 months she's been buying this at home. They doing this for the house, getting this done. And then all of a sudden this position comes up. What should I just say? The event pops up. How many of us have been afraid to leave our families and go someplace else? Seriously, think about that for a minute. How many of you would even apply in a different country or a different state? Do you follow what I'm saying? Like when we go start looking for the job, where do we look at? Places we are very familiar with. But did you pick up the paper on the West Coast and say, and now with the internet, you can literally go on the internet and you can say, okay, what state do you want to move to? Anybody, just type it out. What state do you want to move to? What state? Where would you like to live? Huh? Florida. So what do? You go in the Florida papers, go online, and you start putting applications in Florida. Or it even gets better than that. Look on your job, see if they have opportunity there. Right? And then at the end of the day, let them take care of the expenses. That's what Rashid, they paying for everything. Her relocation, she paying for her residence for the next 3 or 4 months. I was talking to Yola. Yola said she want to move to freaking Dubai. Well, guess what? Ain't nobody afraid. If they gonna pay this, they got all kinds of programs. Somebody said there's money all over this country, but you're worrying instead of creating, and now you're not getting the results based off of some event that you might have heard or somebody else. Listen, would you move out the country? See, we can get real deep with this one. I got a friend of mine just moved out to India, South America. Why? Because he said it's good for what he does. Y'all don't even understand. I think I've seen a lot of musical artists say, guess what? They go over to seas. Anybody ever heard of, I'm going to take y'all back. Anybody ever heard of, what are they? I forgot. My bad. That was too far back. I'll think of it in a minute. But they say a lot of the singing groups go overseas and they perform over there and get much better results than they get in what? America. They're more what? To there. Do you follow what I'm saying? So would you go on tour over there and say, let me go check out what it's like in Panama? Let me go see what it's like in another. See, oh, look at what's going on over here. What they got going over here. I don't want to vote. I don't want to do that. Well, but leave. But I don't want to leave my family. I don't want to leave my grandchildren. Whatever. Get out of denial. You better change or you go and die. That's all I have to say today. It's 10:03. Mr. Mumford, the call is yours, sir.
That was good, Mr. Satchel. It's very good. And I think that a lot of us need to, I just want to really go back to what Oprah said to close out the call, because, you know, opportunities are always presented to us. See, some of you don't even realize, some of you, if you really think about it, even this call, this platform is an opportunity for you to excel your life. But if you don't see it as an opportunity and you're afraid of the change and say, well, how does this, like I was talking to somebody today and I said, she was telling me how she had some fears. And I said, well, you know, come on camera, right? See, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So just by you understanding this technology and embracing it and getting your camera up and showing your face, right? Because that's got to be confidence. If you're afraid to come on camera, you got your face half hidden and you don't want to come on camera because I don't want nobody to see my face, I can promise you, that's going to follow you in every other area of your life. See, and you got to accept the changes I presented to you. And like what Oprah said, there are no failures. Failure is a sign of taking you in the right direction. So maybe you had a couple failed relationships, but that's on your path to wanting to find a solid, wholesome relationship. Maybe you didn't find the right job, you hate your job, but you keep on, I keep changing jobs, but you didn't fail. You're just on that pathway to finding your place here on earth where you want to be at fulfillment. So, you know, embrace the change, embrace the process. You know, and I think one thing I will say here is that, you know, you have to keep a positive mindset when you are changing. Because if you get down on yourself and you beat yourself down, then it's going to cause other negative things to come about. So you got to maintain your positivity even amongst the change, right? So you may be changing relationship, you may be transitioning from homes, places, different things. It's important. I'm gonna tell you, this moving thing means everything, because I said, like, people in Katrina, I imagine how many of them probably said I wanted to move and was afraid to leave afraid of their family. But now a storm came to them and forced them to move. And look how they adjusted. Because folks, what you'll find is once you step out, like they say, where God guides, He provides. Where the Lord leads, He feeds. See, once you step out, see, that's why it's called supernatural. If you want the supernatural to take place in your life, you got to do something natural. Then what the Creator's super makes it supernatural. So when I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't even think, how could you leave your mom and your sisters? I can tell you, just even my health-wise, things changed for me. I never knew it was going to happen, right? And to be back in Philadelphia 5 years later. Am I regretting it? No. You know, you got to go with the change. So I just implore you, I'm looking forward to the reading of this book, because, you know, a lot of us going to go through some changes, and you may know some things, write some stuff down. What are some things you know you want to change, right? And write it down and start thinking about, okay, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna stick my big foot in the water, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna embrace the change. I'm gonna do it, because change is not change until you change.
Can I show them something real quick? Watch this. Let me just show y'all something real quick, because Mr. Mumford just hit something. He just said, how many of us are scared to go on camera? Right? Now, there's 60-some people in here right now, 64 to be exact. We probably have about 1/3 of that's on camera. And then you look at the most people that's in here. I want to show y'all something right now. And those that may not be able to see this, you may not be able to see it. But as you know, most of us, I'm going to give y'all this one just to go with you. I'm going to just give you this to go on the road with you, right? This is, I ain't supposed to do this, but I'm going to do this. Most of you are in projects, and the thing that most people say they are feared from the most is what? Talking to other people, right? Look at this for a second. Can I sit here and do an interview with any one of y'all right now? Has anybody at their job done an online interview?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you're not in that country, but now you're in another country. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just show you how right now I'm showing you this. This site called, y'all heard of monster.com, Craigslist, and all of these different things. Just within the last hour, I have 23 new people that had responded to an ad. Responded to this ad. Now, when I actually get ready to talk to them, all of these people I got to talk to today. And y'all know I ain't going to get through. And I don't really have to talk to none of them, but I'm just sharing. Look at some of these daggone education, loss prevention, dental hygiene, international business, BS and criminal justice. These are people who are responding to a ad. But at the end of the day, guess what? As you talk to these people, all I'm doing is putting them in front of the information, regardless of whatever it is. I done rejected 11 of them. Because my job here, now look at this, just on how I actually see this, my job ain't to bring you in. My job is to reject you as quickly as I can. Why? Because I got almost 3 new people that I have to talk to today about this problem. Am I getting it? So now when I say I will sit down here and I'm going to do an interview online with you, guess what? I now have a platform called Zoom, and all of y'all have the same platform, and it's free to most of you. It's free. In fact, all of you, for one person to do an interview with them, you give them the same number, Zoom. Guess what? This is new technology. Did we start off with this technology with Mr. Mumford when we started? No. We went from on a conference call to a webinar, which was called Click Meeting, where we started. And now look at where we are today, Zoom, where now we've become more effective. See, we're constantly learning new things to do what? Perfect this thing. Are y'all with me? And I guarantee you now people are what? Connecting and feeling. And at the same time, this is what allows you to go to your new levels. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, you have some spectacular people that know a whole lot of stuff here. You need to tap into life-changing alliances, because I tell you, people are constantly saying, where is LCA going next? Baby, when you see it, it's going to happen right before your very eyes, and you can't say you wasn't there. All I just say is what? Embrace the change. Do you know how people are dating today? Online. You got more dating sites than anything. Guess how me and Lynn met? Online. I would never talk to somebody online. See, embrace the changes. God bless, take care, and take charge. I'm just trying to read these comments before I leave because I see y'all. All right, y'all have a good day. Peace out. No. Bye.